Yeah. So when you sent me some links, so to some photos of the things that you guys have done, there was a Tal volcano response. The photos there like were surreal in a sense. I couldn't imagine that that was Taal volcano. Like
Yeah.
it really seemed like a totally different planet. And
Oh
uh,
yeah, absolutely.
yeah, so I was looking at the photos and I couldn't help it but get like a sense of kanang like adventure, you know, like
Oh yeah, it is. It is.
yeah, like so do you feel that like when you're out there? I mean, that's how. I'm sure it's hard, and of course we're doing something good and everything. But at the same time, I have daydreamed about just going out there, riding my bike for a month, and then just like camping in the middle of
Yeah,
nowhere. And yes, I mean, do you
you
feel
should.
that aspect of it? Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, well, one of these days when the children are older.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I always tell people that there's nothing wrong to enjoy doing this kind of thing. In fact, you should enjoy doing this kind of thing because people enjoy doing bad things. Like if you watch even music videos, like I'm not going to say anything specifically about that, but
Mm-hmm.
like even in movies, in films, in music videos, and everything, you see people marketing the stuff that you wouldn't really necessarily like tell your younger brother or sister, hey, you should do this. You should ride around in a sports car with a gun and a bag of cash in the back, and then girls with wearing bikinis or something. I mean, for some reason, it's absolutely okay for us to see stuff like that. But we've had a lot of feedback in the past 7 years where people sort of like not necessarily criticize, but would have like a negative opinion if you sort of enjoy doing helping other people, if you share the stuff that you do for other people and stuff like that. And I always tell them that, but that's what's necessary, because bad people put out bad content every day on the internet, and the only way for us to balance that out, to counter that, is to put out good content every day. So if we don't do that, the only thing that people will see, especially for example kids, let's be honest, if they see this is the environment that they grow up in. So they grow up thinking that this is normal. So seeing all of these negative stuff on the web, which is basically where we all live now, uh, they would develop that mindset. But imagine if you see like bike scouts, for example, going out and helping people in the aftermath of natural disaster. Maybe for some people they would see it as an adventure, some people would see it as something inspiring, some people would see it as different things. But basically positive content that inspires people to do the exact same thing. Of course, it's not realistic to say that everybody should do exactly what bike scouts teams does, but the thing is that you don't have to do that. You can do it in your own community. You just walk out of your house, and if you see somebody that you think that needs help, that's it. That's the positive thing that you need for to do for the day.
Yeah, I think that that really works because last year I'm blanking on the exact date now, but last year or early this year, oh no, it was last year. Last year, so there was this thing that was being organized by the Rotary Club here in Cebu, and me, I'm not part of it. I don't really know anything that's happening. But then a friend of mine posted it online and said, "Oh, we're doing a End Polio Now ride." So the whole idea was they were going to do vaccinations all over Cebu. And then the
Yeah.
ride was, the circumference of Cebu Island. And
Oh yeah.
as soon as I saw that, I was like, "Oh, I'm in." Right? But
Yeah.
like
Exactly. Exactly.
but it's great that I was able to do it for a cause. But I'll be honest that the reason for me to do it was, I wanted to get on my
Go on the
bicycle,
ride.
yeah, and do
Yeah.
the ride and support in a way that I could. I mean, it was very little. Like all I did literally was pedal my bike and be there while they were giving the vaccinations to all of these babies. But
Yeah.
that's it. And but
Exactly.
yeah, but if
And that's the entire point of it
mhm.
actually. You don't necessarily have to do like you don't have to be heroic about it. Participation is enough, and that's the reason. That's the other reason why the bike scouts community has been growing is because if you take a look at the cycling community in general, there's a natural sense of like a bond between people who ride. Like we wave at each other when we see each other on the road, even though we're complete strangers. If we meet up at a, let's say at a rest stop, and then we sort of like buy snacks, before you know it, everybody's talking or joking around with everybody else, even though we're all complete strangers. So there's a natural sense of community. So one of the things that I realized is that why don't, instead of just talking about bicycles all of the time, what if we take that sense of community and put that to good use? Because there are a lot of cyclists, a lot of cycling groups that are already doing projects anyway. So why not create a platform where people can actually do this sustainably? So hopefully that's what bike scouts will be.